Good morning and welcome. Good morning. I am Zia Anderson, a member of the board at the Unitarian Universalist Church in Reston. Whether you are here on Zoom or here in the church sanctuary, we are so glad you are here with us on this icy morning. No matter how old or how young you are, wherever you are on your spiritual journey, however you identify, and whomever you love, know that you are welcome here. I have a few announcements this morning. We hope you will join us after worship today for an information session about Article 2. This year, Unitarian Universalists are considering the values that are most important to us as UUs. In June, delegates from each congregation will vote on a revision of Article 2 of the UUA bylaws, which includes values and inspirations. Today's event will be held in the sanctuary and Zoom after the service. Childcare will be provided. On February 4th, we will welcome new members who have recently joined UCR in a brief ceremony during the service. If you are considering becoming a member and are interested in participating in this event, please contact Kathy Deligianis. We are seeking performers for the Valentine's Day Cabaret on Saturday, February 17th at 7 p.m. This event is being organized by the Music Committee. You are all invited to offer a song, a poem, a dance, or a story at this family-friendly, all-ages event. Please pick up a flyer in the foyer to learn more. If you would like to perform, please sign up to do so by February 1st. Contact David Niemi with questions. Now, let us center ourselves for worship. Please take some deep, quieting breaths with me. Our time of worship together as we enjoy this morning's prelude.
Good morning and welcome. I'm Reverend Aileen Fitzke, and it is my honor to serve this congregation as its minister. Our opening words this morning are by the Reverend Joan Javier Duval. You are beloved and you are welcome here. Whether tears have fallen from your eyes this past week or gleeful laughter has spilled out of your smiling mouth, you are beloved and you are welcome here. Whether you are feeling brave or brokenhearted, defiant or defeated, fearsome or fearful, you are beloved and you are welcome here. Whether you have untold stories buried deep inside or stories that have been forced beyond the edges of comfort, you are beloved and you are welcome here. Whether you have made promises, broken promises, or are renewing your promises, you are beloved and you are welcome here. Whatever is in your heart, however it is with your soul in this moment, you are beloved and you are welcome here. In this space of welcome and acceptance, commitment and recommitment, of covenant and connection, let us worship together.
Good morning. Our opening hymn today is number 1014, Answering the Call of Love. The words are on the back of your order of service. If you are using a teal hymnal, just please note that the composer has changed the words from standing on the side of love to answering the call of love. So please rise in body or spirit and join us.
Good morning. As we light the morning chalice, let us, in these hard times, look first to the response of love. In the midst of challenge, may our chalice flame bear witness to the inherent worth and dignity of every human being. In the midst of its uncertainty, may our chalice be a beacon of enlightenment, for our values may guide us in our choices. But let us look first to the response of love.
Here at UUCR, we have a closely held tradition of singing together our covenant every Sunday. Love is the spirit of this church. We will remain seated as we sing our covenant together. And if you are visiting us this morning for the first time, please accept this song as our blessing to you.
Ages. And do we have the sound? Okay, great. So if you are feeling young of body, I invite you to come forward and sit on the floor if you'd like to be near. And wherever you are, welcome, welcome. Now, if you've ever flown in an airplane, you may have heard the flight attendant say, if the airplane depressurizes, put on your own oxygen mask before helping someone else. Has anyone heard that before? Probably a lot of us. And they say that because if you don't have enough oxygen, you can't help anyone else. And that is similar to the message of our service today, which is learn to love yourself so you can help and love others. So, I wonder, what are some of the ways that right now in your everyday life you're caring for yourself? Oh, yes? You need food and water to live, and you need the energy they give to help other people. Yeah, yes? Going to a birthday party. Sometimes having fun is a good way, and connecting with friends. Anyone else, any adults have a way. Well, nutritious food, getting plenty of sleep, exercise, fresh air, and having fun are good ways to care for yourself. Some people also use affirmations. That's when they tell themselves good things about themselves and maybe even put those messages on their mirror so they see it every day. And some people use meditation or prayer to help rest their minds, maybe connect with something bigger than themselves, and to feel hope and feel better. So I'd like to invite everyone here in the sanctuary and online to join me in trying something. If it doesn't work for you, after this you could just let it go, but I encourage you to try it right now. And it is from a prayer of St. Patrick, who Episcopalian Sheila Foster turned into a body prayer. And I've further adapted it into something that will fit our service today. So let's first begin by taking a deep breath through your nose. And then out through your mouth. And again in through your nose. And out through your mouth. And keep breathing as I give you directions and you follow those. Spirit of life before me. And reach your hands out in front of you. Spirit of life behind me. And do this as you can where you are. Spirit of life above me. Reach up as high as you can. And spirit of life below me. Spirit of life beside me. And reach to your left toward the window, that'll be your left towards the AV. And spirit of life all around me. Reach your arms out as much as you can here. And spirit of love within me. And hug yourself. And keep hugging yourself and breathing as you repeat after me. I am loved. I am loved. I am whole. And I am enough. Thank you. And please remember that love surrounds you, that you are loved, that you are whole, and you are enough. Now, let us sing the children to religious education. The lyrics will be projected online and here in the sanctuary.
It is now the time in our service where we share our joys and concerns so that no one ever has to hold them alone. If you are joining us remotely this morning, you may wish to light a real or virtual candle wherever you are to mark what is in your heart. As members of the in-person congregation, place stones here in the water in the sanctuary. If those of you at home would like to share what is on your heart today, in the congregational chat on the screen, please write to all attendees and remember that what you share is public. Those at home may then read others' joys and concerns shared in the chat and then enter into your own time of reflection and prayer as we all listen to Diane play our meditation music this morning. So I invite you in the sanctuary to come up and place stones from the dry bowl into the bowl of water. let us be one in prayer and meditation. Spirit of life and love that so faithfully animates our creation, we are grateful for this community that is with us in times of both joy and sorrow. We hold in our hearts this morning all who are facing any hardship or difficulty, those who are grieving or facing illness or disability in themselves or friends or loved ones. In particular this morning, we hold in our hearts and prayers all people of the world suffering from war or violence. For them, we light this candle. I now invite you to join me for a moment of silence.
As a self-funded church, UCR relies on the generosity of its members and friends to fund daily operations and to ensure that the church and its resources are here for us and others, now and in the future. Pledges support our worship and music programs, our religious education program, programs for members and friends, community outreach, and connections to Unitarian Universalism. We now invite you to support the work of U Reston by making your donation to the collection plate if you are here in the sanctuary or at the link on the slide and in the chat box. Thank you for your generosity and support of our beloved spiritual home.
Well, that was just gorgeous, wasn't it? Thank you. Nicole, Leanne, and Sarah. When my children were very young, we went to the Deer Park Monastery, which is the North American monastery where the Zen Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh came when he was in the United States. We went there with an RE class from our UU fellowship. We were there for the children's Dharma talk, after which we would stay and walk the grounds of the monastery. As it turned out, Thich Nhat Hanh was there, and he was in the US to have surgery on his eye. The surgery was scheduled for a few days later, and he decided since he was there, he would give the Dharma talk. Everyone had already assembled before we found this out, and all the youngest children were seated at the very front of the room. My son Joe was about 3 at the time, and so we were at the very front, sitting cross-legged on the floor just below the slightly raised dais where he would be speaking. Before he entered the room, I could feel his presence. I knew exactly when he would enter. Literally, I have never felt anything like this before in my life or since. As he gave his 20-minute children's Dharma talk, not a single child moved, including my son Joe, who never sat still for anything. When we saw him, he was not young. He was almost 80. The small growth on his eyelid that he was having removed partially closed one of his eyes. He was not what anyone would call classically handsome, but he was one of the most beautiful people I ever met. In the moment when he entered the room, I burst into tears. As a society, we strive for a certain kind of beauty, of perfection. I watched a YouTube video once that showed how layout people use digital photography techniques to remove any perceived flaw on the body of the model's magazine ads. And not only that, they lengthened her legs and torso into proportions not found in nature. And they do this to convince us to buy products so that we too can attain this literally impossible level of beauty. Then there are the impossibly fit people in the exercise equipment ads that convince us that we could have a body like them if only we tried their exercise machines. It's not true. And we're not supposed to look like the people in the ads. The actual people in the ads don't even look like the people in the ads. The standards of beauty and perfection that society make us believe we should aspire to, they are based on an aesthetic that is almost impossible to achieve. And they are based on an aesthetic that privileges some bodies over others. Bodies that are too big, too old, too infirm, not the right color, too loud, or marginalized, are seen as not living up to the impossible aesthetic and are often seen as expendable. Their whole person is seen as a flaw. They are taught early on in life that they are not beautiful, that there is something wrong with them. Ray Johnson, in her book Embodied Activism, writes, "Body ideals create a narrow and tightly constricted idea of what normal bodies should look and act like. All bodies that naturally or intentionally fall outside these norms are vulnerable to varying degrees of scorn, contempt, and abuse. And all of us learn to scorn those who don't fit in, whether we realize it or not. And we can internalize that scorn, that contempt toward ourselves if we don't fit in or conform to those narrow norms. People literally poison, starve, and disfigure themselves to achieve that ideal. There is this Nathaniel Hawthorne short story called The Birthmark. The story is about young newlyweds. The young man sees his wife as beautiful and perfect, except for a small hand-shaped birthmark on her face. He becomes obsessed with removing it. In his hubris as a young scientist, he makes it his project to develop an elixir that will fade the birthmark so his wife will be perfect. And because she is gentle and sweet and loves him very much and wants to please him, she agrees to put her trust in him and his experiments. As you can guess, he eventually develops an experiment that he believes will remove her one flaw. And it does. But as the birthmark slowly fades, so does his wife. As her skin becomes flawless, she dies. Like the young man in the story, we often try and fix others when we think they are flawed. I was at this workshop a while ago on mentoring. The presenter, who had worked with many people as a mentor, said she used to think that she had to prepare her mentees for every eventuality, tell them all the mistakes that she had made so they could avoid them, so that they would never have to struggle the way she had to struggle, to fail the way she had failed. Then she realized that no, that first of all, the choices that she made that failed may not fail in a different setting or context. And that second, allowing her mentees to fail or struggle in their own way allowed them to grow as persons. The psychologist of grief and dying, Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, wrote, "The most beautiful people we have known are those who have known defeat, known suffering, known struggle, known loss, have found their way out of the depths. These persons have an appreciation, a sensitivity, and an understanding of life that fills them with compassion, gentleness, and deep, loving concern. Beautiful people do not just happen." There is this aesthetic philosophy born in Zen Buddhism called wabi-sabi. It is an aesthetic, but also philosophy of finding beauty in the imperfect, impermanent, and incomplete. I will not be able to fully describe this term because its meaning, like the aesthetic and philosophy, don't have an exact English translation. The word wabi refers to the state of being in solitude for reflection in nature. The word sabi refers to the passage of time. Wabi-sabi refers to things that are either emerging from or evolving into nothingness. That the beauty of something is in its ephemeral, impermanent nature. And in the becoming and the fading, objects develop flaws. And it is in the flaws that make them beautiful. Like the Leonard Cohen song Anthem, in which he wrote, "Forget the perfect offering. There is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in." We found some of these little vessels when we moved into our house here. There was about 4 or 5 of them. They were behind the dryer in the washing machine. Forgotten, discarded, because the previous owner, an artist, did not find them up to their standard. Or maybe they just forgot them, or maybe they didn't realize they were behind the dryer, I don't know. Either way, I find them beautiful. They're totally imperfect. There's about 4 or 5 of them, and they're just gorgeous. I have them displayed in my house. We humans are like these little pots and Leonard Cohen's imperfect offerings. We have cracks and flaws because our lives are not perfect. We have struggles, we fail, we lose people we love, because we are all impermanent. These cracks, these wounds, these struggles, if we are resilient enough to come back from them, make us more human. We sew up the wounds after the light has gotten in and healed them. From those failures and flaws, we learn what it is like to be hurt, to not accomplish something, to not be perfect, and we learn empathy and compassion. We learn to love the flaws in ourselves, and we learn to love, have compassion and empathy for the flaws in others. Did you ever notice the more you love someone, the more beautiful they become to you? I'm going to tell you something. It shouldn't be a secret. Every one of you in this room is beautiful. You were born beautiful and you remain beautiful. That is the nature of being human. Our individual beauty emerges as we age and learn and grow. No amount of starving yourself or exercise is going to make you more beautiful. By all means, diet and exercise, eat healthy foods. Sometimes it's good for your health. But what you consider your flaws, your struggles, your failures, they make you more beautiful, especially if you have figured out a way to bounce back from them and have emerged a more loving, kinder, and empathetic person. There is this French expression, jolie laide. It has a very wabi-sabi-ish meaning. It means ugly beautiful or unconventionally beautiful. If we all compare ourselves to rigid, flawless, societal expectation beauty, then we are all jolie laide. We should celebrate that. We, like the objects of wabi-sabi aesthetic, are all imperfect, impermanent, and incomplete because we are elements of nature and because it is our nature. Back when I met Thich Nhat Hanh, I told one of my mentors at the time about my experience of crying when he walked into the room. She thought for a moment, and then she said something I will never forget. She said, "Maybe he is one of those rare people who have the ability to reflect your own beauty back at you." May we be that. May we be those who reflect the beauty of others back at them so they can see it for themselves. Amen, and blessed be.
Our closing hymn today is number 1053 in your teal hymnal, How Could Anyone? Well, please rise in body or spirit and join us.
Our benediction this morning is by Reverend Julian Jamaica Soto. I need you to know that there is nothing wrong with you. If you find the world congealed and unwieldy, you were never meant to serve money, to give loyalty to unprincipled power, to spend your joy frantically soothing yourself in order to tend wounds of being constantly dehumanized. I need to know that your sense of injury and anger is not overdeveloped. You are meant for love and beauty. You belong where you are known and where your future is not just a resource, but a promise, which you begin to fulfill by being unmistakably, irrevocably yourself. You are not wrong.
We now extinguish this flame. but not the light of hope and truth, the warmth of community, nor the fire of commitment. These we carry forth in our hearts until we are together again.
We invite our congregants to join us for coffee or tea and fellowship. Those attending the worship on Zoom can join us for our virtual Greet Your Neighbor coffee hour to discuss the service theme and enjoy fellowship with other congregants. The link is in the chat box and will be on a forthcoming slide. We hope you will use the chat box as a virtual receiving line to leave a message about your appreciation for the worship service. Now, please remain seated as we enjoy this morning's postlude.
Our postlude today is hymn number 368 in the gray hymnal, and we'd like you all to join us in singing. It is a two-part song. So those of you on this side of the congregation are going to be singing along with this group of people, and those of you over here will sing with us. And we're going to show you how it goes really quickly. I'm sure many of you know this already. So we're going to start with the lower part, part 2. And it goes like this. Now let us sing, 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 sing. Now let us sing, 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 sing. Open your voice, be not afraid. Now let us sing to the power of love within. If you're using your gray hymnal, just note that we've reordered the words just a little bit. So we're going to start with love. And if you're brave enough to put down your hymnal and use your hands, we're going to make this sign when you get to love. Those of you singing part 2, you only get to do that word once in the whole song. This is called a zipper song, where one important word gets replaced every verse. So for this zipper song, we're going to start with the word love. And those of you on this side of the congregation, you get to do that right at the very end. Okay, the top part goes like this. So, ready, and sing to the power of the love within. Sing to the power of the love within. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Sing to the power of the love within. Got it? Okay, so part 2 starts, then we're going to jump in. The order of the words are love, hope, faith, and joy. Now, those of us over here, we get to be the emotions. Oh, and then we go back to love. Thank you. Okay, is everybody ready? Part 2 begins.